And you got a yellow because your guy played exactly where he should have played. 20th. That's not stinking, Lucas. I can't give you a green. Had he finished 21st, then I would give you a green.
I don't think if you finish in the top 20, you deserve a green. So I'm cool with it.
Well, you're going to have to be because it's my game, so I get to make the rules.
Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Players Meeting, a Win Dummies production powered by the ACDGC and KDGA. I'm your host, Lucas Deal, and this is episode number 54, The Open at Austin. It gave us everything. Jaw-dropping performances, heartbreaking collapses, and one hole that's got the entire disc golf world talking. Sprinkle Valley's hole 18 might just be the most diabolical hole we've seen in years. Was it fair or foul? We'll break it all down. Plus, we're checking in on our weekly picks. Who made the right calls and who's going to regret their choices, and the Survivor League. Let's see who's still standing. It's all in this episode, so stay strapped in. And if you have not, please subscribe to the Disc and Deals Coverage YouTube channel. That's where you'll find all of our podcasts. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. We also just have some new tournament coverage from the Augusta Open out now, and the Chris Jones Memorial coming out soon. But hey, without further ado, let's bring in the real star of the show, the one-time world champ, Chris Smith, a.k.a. Smitty. Smitty, what's up, my man?
Ready to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Fun weekend of disc golf, playing and watching. And outside of the wind we had to fight all weekend in Kansas, it was great.
Yeah. It was a good weekend of disc golf. We had Kansas Team Championship that you ran. I had a team there. Tell me how you thought that event played out.
Man, I think it has the potential to be everybody's favorite disc golf event. I really do. I think people are a little apprehensive about jumping in because I don't think they understand how it all works. But even after the first round, we're trying to get ready for round two. People just are so worried that it's going to be wrong and not work, but it's actually really, really, really simple. And I love the format and I love the potential of this event. And we were up a team from last year up to 7. 8 would be great next year. 12 would be fantastic.
Yeah, it was a really good time. Doubles, triples, match play. It's got it all. We took 4th. I think your team took 2nd, and then your other team took 1st. So I don't know how that worked out.
Well, I was the big loser because I sponsored both. I sponsored my team, and then all the guys on my current team paid my way in. So that hurt. But yeah, dude, it's so fun watching across the park and meeting up with like Ryan Clement halfway through the round and be like, dude, what's up? And he's like, oh man, I won 2 of my matches and I'm in a tie. It's just fun. And he and I have kind of chatted back and forth a little bit since the event. And we had 2 bonehead holes coming down the stretch, which cost us the opportunity to win the doubles triples section, which would have given us the 2 points we needed to win the entire thing.
Yeah.
So fun. So fun. And I just hope that it catches on, and I hope we have to turn teams away at some point.
Yeah, I hope so too. It's really, really cool. But we had a lot of other disc golf happening this weekend while we were playing that Saturday. And then Sunday, what a day for some Pro Tour disc golf. So Smitty, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, let's start where we always start. What's popping? What's been happening around the world of disc golf? And as we know, this week was the Open at Austin. And on the female side, there's a lot of talk about Sprinkle Valley and Hole 18, which we are going to get into a little bit later. But first, let's give some flowers to some of the performances we saw this weekend. Smitty, tell me about some of the women in I'll answer any questions that you have about them.
All right, let's just start at the top. Holland Hanley here, who came out victorious in the end, but it wasn't easy for her, right? She nearly let it slip away, dude. She went for a putt she didn't need to go for on 14. I don't know what she was even thinking trying to run that. I know what she's trying to think, and she was trying to steal another stroke for Cushing coming in the final stretch, but it bit her in the butt hard, and she actually lost a stroke. And then, man, she was just not great over the last 5 holes. She ended up shooting 3 over those holes. What do you think? Nerves?
Yeah.
Not knowing what to do? Not knowing how to win?
I'd say a combination of all, right? I truly think that she got super nervous, and you could tell. She did it similar in Supreme Flight, where she kind of just forgot how to throw a forehand, and she was doing some weird things. The situational awareness on hole 14 said a lot, because Kristen was going to take a bogey. Holland could have laid up, took a par, and took a stroke on her. She ended up running the putt, rolled down the hill. She missed the comebacker. And so then, boom, she lost a stroke on the hole. And it's little things like that she's very, very fortunate that she won. And she's more fortunate that she played a sensational back 9 on round 3.
We'll look at that here in a second. But even that comeback putt on 14 that she tried to make was ill-advised.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that easily could have hit and rolled down the other side, and she could have been left with the putt then that she had to go for. But, I mean, the fact that she even gunned at that second one blew my mind, and the fact she went for the first one, I was telling her she was an idiot, and I still think she was an idiot for going to it. But you want to look at that back 9 she played?
Yeah, let's look at that, because I thought that was sensational. As you can see here, she caught them all, that back 9. Shot 10-29, 8 down for the round, but that back 9 is the story, and that is amazing. And that just shows you that's the same course that she played the next round, where she didn't shoot nearly as good. She shot +3 in those last 5 holes, where the day before she shot 5 under. She got them all. And that just shows what pressure can do. She did not handle it well. I actually was surprised on 18 when she laid up, because I didn't know if she had the situational awareness to also lay up for that. And I don't mean any disrespect. I just don't know if she has someone on her bag that understands these situations that can help her out, or if her herself just needs to take a second before she starts stepping up to a putt. Towards the end of a tournament, when you got a lead and you know your closest competitor is right there and you're going to take a stroke on them if you lay up, it's all about match play then, right? You have to play your competitor, and it's a little bit different than you're playing the rest of the time, but that's how you have to win. You have to know the situation. She was fortunate.
Let's dive a little deeper into this hot round, and I think I can explain to you exactly why it was such a hot round.
Okay.
It was actually the tale of 2 rounds. The front 9, she shot not great, dude. She went OB on hole 2 and took a 6, so a bogey. OB on hole 5, ended up with a double bogey. OB on hole 9, ended up with a bogey. Then here's when she gets hot, and I'll tell you why I think she shot so well. Hole 10, 10-foot putt. Hole 11, 17-foot putt. She better make those every single time.
Absolutely. She's a good putter.
Hole 12, 32 feet. That's a solid putt coming down the stretch. Hole 13, 7 feet. Hole 14, 19 feet. Hole 15, 15 feet. Hole 16, 3 feet. Hole 17, 27 feet. And then hole 18 was a 5-footer. So all those birdies were good upshots or great drives.
Yep.
Except she had 2 really nice putts within there.
Yeah, but something she failed to do the final day. But I don't want to take anything away. I am proud that she got the win, because at the end of the day, Kristen also didn't bring her A game and didn't hit shots that she needed to hit down the stretch to win. We know that she took, and we can talk a little bit about Kristen here if you'd like to.
Mm-hmm. I think we should.
And I want to just say this on record. Last week I said, hey, Kristen is so good because she's consistent. She never has blow-up holes. She never takes more than a double bogey. Direct quote from me last week. And then, of course, that was before we saw hole 18 at Sprinkle Valley, where Kristen ended up carding an 11 the first day and a 10 the second day. That particular hole had her in tears. She was not feeling it. And I think that hole cost her the tournament, not because of the number of strokes, because Holland didn't play that hole much better, but it's because I think it took a toll on her mentality. It made her not be as confident as she normally is. So that's kind of how I feel about it, because I think Holland played that hole
15.
Owen played it 16. So, Kristen played it in 21. So it's not the most vast difference there. The fact that Kristen ended in second place is just a testament to how good she is, though. And only one stroke away from winning.
Yeah, but hole 18 isn't the reason she lost. The reason she lost was she was this much off all weekend. She had multiple shots off the tee or in the fairway that ended up OB by inches or feet. And the one that, she, after that rollaway debacle, going into hole 16, 15, she parked and Holland gave up another stroke. And then they go into 16 and Kristen throws it 27 feet out, but she's in a bunker. So she has to take a penalty stroke there. And just little misses like that, I think, added up to the overall losing. And this chick was off of her game to somebody who shot the round of her life and she lost by one stroke. That's tough, man. I'll still take Kristen over the field at every single tournament this year. She or ChatGPT or somebody wrote a nice little write-up afterwards for her. There she is, broken down in tears, walking off of hole 18 the second round because, man, she played her butt off, had a great round going, and took a big hole. And, yeah, even gives congrats to Holland and whatever. Just 100% true class act, as you would expect.
Yeah.
You did see a little emotion out of her this week, though. She did get a little fired up a few times at different things.
Yeah, and I love it. I love that she's wanting to win. To see her crying though, that was tough.
She wasn't the only one. There was multiple women that
how could they not? And again, we're gonna get to it. We keep alluding to it, but I promise we're gonna talk about that whole. Let's talk about Owen, shall we?
Yeah,
because she had a fantastic final round.
She had a good final round. I don't know if it's fantastic. She climbed 11 spots to find the podium over the last two rounds, and pretty much all of it was this final round. So that was a great round for Owen for sure. What do you think the difference was? What clicked?
I would say it was her front nine here. Obviously, if you look at her scorecard the day before, she just capitalized on holes that she did in the day before. And that's how it is when you're playing a course like that. If you're just a little bit off, you're going to be in the fairway or, in a really tough spot where you're having to pitch around and scramble your butt off. And so she was able to capitalize on that final round and jump up 11 spots to get that podium finish. So pretty impressive. What do you think of her? I know you got to watch most of that final round for the women.
Yeah, I watched a little bit of all of the rounds for the women because I had downtime in the morning. And I don't know if you know, Owen was hurt. She pretty much didn't have a forehand the first two rounds, and every time she did do it, she would grab her arm and hold it and say she couldn't feel her fingers, which for a player like Owen, that's going to be detrimental if she can't lean on the forehand, just cranking them over and letting them fight back. That's a big part of her game, both directions. But she did throw a few really nice Anheisers as well, the third and fourth rounds. So, yeah, we know Owen's a good putter, and as long as she can stay safe in the fairways and get herself within 30 feet, she's going to have a chance at any tournament against these other gals.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, so congratulations to Holland Hanley. Great round there by Owen. And let's jump into the men, shall we?
Yeah,
All
this was a slobber knocker.
Gosh, what a fantastic tournament. But let's just jump right into the champion. And Smitty, the Finnish cowboy, rides again.
Look how cute little Nick is in that hat.
He survives the playoff and goes back-to-back at the Open at Austin. Smitty, that final round was electric. What stood out to you from Nick this final round?
A couple of things. Number one, Nick throws a little bit farther than I thought he could. He made that one par 5 look doable by normal humans. But yeah, he was throwing it great. He was lacing lines, whatever that cream yellow colored disc he was throwing. He knew when that thing was going to break over and turn right. And to quote Nick himself, that was the best round he putted. And he had one miss in the round. I forget which hole it was. It was one of those on a little slope. And I was texting with Ronnie like we always do back and forth during these. And he stepped up to it, and it was like 18 to 20 feet. And I said, I got a bad feeling. And doink. It was basically the same putt he missed last year coming down the stretch to kind of get him in a pickle. Everybody has that uncomfortable range that's too long for a gimme, but still short enough that you better make it or you're going to feel like a butthead.
Yeah. Yeah, he played awesome. He was just dicing up the fairways. I mean, he was all over him. He was perfect, always in a position to have a good next shot. And yeah, his putting was primo.
He had so many shots that were just inches from the OB line. And whether that was intentional or not, it put him in a good spot on. Like that par 5 I'm referencing, that hole's like 900 and some feet, I think, and he was probably inbounds for 15 feet of that.
Yeah, he was swinging. And that first shot, there was a dude in the crowd in brown that didn't see it. And did you notice him too? And I'm like, oh my God, if that would have, just been a little bit over, that could have been a huge bad break for little Nick. But it came full circle, man. He took it down again. But, in the process of little Nick winning, that means someone had to lose. And that someone was someone that was in the driver's seat the entire way. Kyle Klein had a 3-stroke lead heading into the final round. The back half, his putter kind of went cold. He had it in the bag, Smitty. He let this slip away. What went wrong for Kyle Championship Sunday?
Well, it's not what went wrong. It's what went right for Kyle the entire tournament.
In the position? Yeah.
To keep him in the position. This guy, he had so many lucky breaks. I couldn't believe each round the breaks that he was getting. And even coming down the stretch here, he threw one on 17 that went through the canopy all the way to the pin, almost aced the dang thing. And that wasn't the first of the breaks that this dude had during the tournament. But you know what? He was really flustered after the third round. He said in his interview he'd never felt like that. He didn't know what was going on. He didn't know how to fix it. But I'll give that dude props too, man. Every time the pressure was on, he would step up and make a really nice shot or a great putt. So, yeah, he got fortunate a lot, but he also was really, really good when he needed to be good.
Yeah. Hole 18 just got him both times. He just didn't play that hole extremely well. His drive, it wasn't what he needed to put himself in a position to score on that hole. And little Nick's drive on 18 both times, just perfect position. Well, I would say decent position the first time because he got kind of snookered behind a tree. Perfect position in the playoff.
Beautiful. That I would love to see that going down the fairway there on. I'd like to be on course to see that. That would be for sure a jaw dropper.
Yeah. So I definitely felt bad for Kyle Klein. He's the times that he's won on tour, Smitty, it's coming from behind. He's never won when he's been in the lead position, and that's a tough thing for people to do.
Yeah, one of the commentators nailed it. I don't remember if it was during the men or the women, and I can't believe I'm giving anybody in the men's commentary props, but they said it's easier to win from the chase card because you really have nothing to lose.
Yep.
Which that's true. I mean, and Nick wasn't on the chase card. He knew what he had to do. He had to make shots, and that probably gives him a little bit more freedom early in that round to attack. And he did attack. He killed the first 5 or 6 holes. It was amazing.
Yeah, it's definitely easier to put pressure on when you are trailing. When you're in the lead, you want to hit your shots, but you're also trying not to make mistakes a lot of times. And when you're in the position of a chase, you don't care about the mistakes because you know you're chasing. And so that's really all it is.
I was really disappointed in Anthony's performance that last round. He was probably almost out of it after the first hole. He took a double bogey, 2 OBs on the hole because he went for a putt, and he did clutch up and make some down the stretch to make a little more jingle. But had he putted like he did the first 3 rounds and just threw the disc a little bit better, you can't beat him.
Yeah. If there's ever a mistake that Anthony makes, it's on the putting green, more than likely, or it's him trying to be too uber aggressive. And after that first hole, he had to play a different game probably than he had planned for, and that kind of took him out of it. But you know someone, Smitty, that did play extremely well, and I thought they were going to make a heck of a comeback and maybe even potentially win. But Paul Macbeth, here it is. You can see he drops a filthy 12 under in round 3, besting the entire field by 5 strokes. 1095 rated. Smitty, I know you are a McBeast lover. When Paul is in that kind of form, it's always electric. How hyped were you being able to watch that unfold?
I didn't see much of the round that he shredded, but I was excited to see him and Rick on chase card going into the final round. So yeah, dude, anytime that Paul's in the mix, I'm all about it.
Did you get to see Paul and Rick do their practice round together?
Yeah. I don't know if I like it when they're together.
You want them to be rivals?
I don't want Jose to be right. But yeah, he might be. And yeah, I did watch their practice round a little bit of it. I just think it's two different dudes. Paul's more serious and more focused, and Rick is just kind of like me, just beep, 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 bouncing all over the place. I don't know what he's going to think about next. I forget what he has done this year. He got 3rd at Supreme Flight, 11th at Waco, and 7th here at MVP's Open at Austin. So I guess Paul going to win one this year?
You're asking me?
Yep.
He is playing better than I expected him to play. I still don't think he wins one, though.
I think he'll get one at some point. I sure hope so.
But a really good start to the year for someone that really had an off year and down year last year. So it's exciting when he plays well. And man, I hope he gets one. But I also like to be right, and I don't think he's going to.
Yeah. Somebody else who hasn't won one yet this year is Mr. Gannon Burr.
Yeah, dude. So he's still finishing towards the top. He isn't winning, though, and he won all these 4-round tournaments last year, or nearly every single one. Is his grip on dominance slipping, or is this just kind of a rough patch getting back into the swing of things?
Dude, he's going to shred a couple coming up for sure. There's no doubt about it. I kind of like the fact that he's not winning, but he's there. His presence is felt. He's pushing these other guys. Don't think for a second that little Nick and Kyle didn't think he was going to make that 120-foot jump putt.
Oh, my God. To even be that close was stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and The dude's good. I think the difference between this year and last year is, if you remember, I said all the time, not only is he the best, he's the luckiest.
Yeah.
It only takes one or two of those a tournament to let somebody who's as good as Gannon Burr get the win.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair. Yeah. I'm just surprised he hasn't won yet, but I think it's really funny that I'm asking a question, is he in a rough patch when, I mean, he's nearly in the top 10 every single tournament, nearly in the top 5 every single tournament. And we've only had 3, so we shouldn't sound any alarms, but still, he hasn't won one yet, and thought it was at least worth mentioning why you thought.
I'm okay with him not winning as long as he's still at the top.
All right. Well, Smitty, I think it's time to address the elephant on the course. Hole 18 at Sprinkle Valley. So before I ask you a question about this, I want to go through some statistics. All right.
Yep.
This is officially the hardest hole in FPO DGPT history. And listen to these stats because they are pretty insane. Round 1 averaged 7.81. And this is a par 5, so it averaged 2.81 over par. I was going crazy when I saw these scores come in. And then, of course, the next round, it got even worse. 8.55 average, 3.55 over par that final round. Smitty, there was only 5 birdies all weekend, well, in the 2 days on that hole for the women. 175 OB strokes. And 31 players took a 10 or worse. My question to you, Smitty, is, do you like this hole for them? Is the chaos fun, or did it cross the line of being unfair?
I like the hole. I don't like the way the hole played. I thought the tee shot was fun and fair. You had to throw a good one. I thought the second shot was fun and fair. The third shot, you're either gunning it or laying up. I don't hate that. The problem comes when they're trying to throw over that dang hill to that blind green that's not much bigger than the circle. I think it's more narrow than the circle and a little bit longer. And they have to throw until they pin it, they break the line. I don't like that. 4 times. 4 times they have to throw. If they miss it 4 times, then they can go to the other side. I think it could be fixed. I don't know if I like just hazard being the rule right off of the bat. I would like to see the drop zone moved or the OB moved. I don't know if they could put a tee pad on the top of that hump so they could see what they were going at, and then they could throw a flat shot. Maybe that would help, put it right in the middle. It would still be lots of drama trying to get it on there. It still wouldn't be easy to put it on there. But Kristen isn't taking a hog's nose if she's going up there. So yeah, I'd like to see some sort of a change. I want it still to be tough and something they're thinking about coming down the stretch.
Yeah, that last shot that you're talking about, the one from the stairs to that blind green, is incredibly hard. I thought the answer was a hazard just to make it a little bit easier, but I do like that it challenges the ladies. Right now, do I think it challenged them too much? Maybe. I don't know if their skill level is quite ready for that particular hole, and we saw it in the scores. I don't like a hole design, just throw it as hard as you can, get past the green, and then you're in the drop zone. And I don't like that as a strategic play for a hole. That means there's a little bit of a flaw in the design of the hole. If that is the play, don't love that. I do think there should be some type of tweak for next year. I don't know what that is. Maybe your idea is right.
The absolute correct play, and the people who scored the lowest on it said, I don't care what I get. It's not going to be double digits. And that final shot, they just ripped.
Yeah.
You watch the dudes. They're attacking it from farther back, of course, which I think makes the launch angle a lot lot more beneficial. But none of those dudes are fluffing one up there and coming up short. They're all crunching over it. So yeah, I mean, I think that's what you have to do. You have to miss it long, and you have to lay up your putt if you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
You just have to take less than a 10. An 8 is great.
Yeah.
As crappy as that sounds, a snowman is not terrible on that hole.
And it would have taken a half a stroke on the field, the round 2 for the women. But give us your thoughts. What did you all think of Sprinkle Valley for the women? This has been an incredibly hot topic. Let us know if you like it. I've seen so many people that love this for the women, and then some people that absolutely hated it. So the dudes, this averaged over par for the men as well. It averaged 6.06 the first round, which is 1.06 over par. And round 2, it averaged 6.36, which is 1.36 over par, which is just a tough hole for the men. This is not something that's outlandish. You're not seeing crazy scores, although you did see Calvin take a 12. How do you think this played for the men's side of things, Smitty?
Well, obviously it's a lot easier. They can throw the discarder. They can attack it from farther away from that stupid hill. And they probably made a lot more drop zone putts or a lot more putts from the back of the green than the ladies. Fix it for one, you got to fix it for the other is what I think. And I really think cement, the people there at Sprinkle Valley or Austin Beard Works or whatever it's called. I don't know if you saw their post on Reddit, but they came out basically apologizing and talking about the hole and what was wrong with it. And they said the reason there isn't a drop zone at the top is because it's dangerous. Sketchy, I think is the words they use. But I don't think it could be that difficult to go up there and put a small tee pad so you can throw a standstill 120-foot shot on. 120 feet is not very far.
Yeah. Did you know they made that post and now it's gone? They've deleted it since.
Off of Reddit?
Yeah. They deleted it after because they were getting ripped to shreds. So are they taking back their apology if they delete it?
Well, they didn't really apologize. They just said from a different perspective.
Oh, yeah. That's fair.
And the other thing that's crazy is a lot of these people that are complaining and moaning and groaning are the same people that love the fact that AB lost the European Open on kind of the same shot. It's a little bit different. I feel like the green on hole 16 at the Beast is a lot easier to attack. You can lay up closer. The problem with this one here in Austin was the closer you got, the harder it was. That's kind of what stung AB was they used the Bunser rule, which he had to rethrow from the same spot. He didn't get to move up forward to the edge of the safe area.
And I think you mentioned it for the ladies. They were trying to get as close to those stairs as possible, but that made that shot so much harder because that was so much more elevation than we could tell on coverage. I've seen some statistics on what that looks like. That's going to make a nose-up angle a lot easier, and that's why a lot of these ladies were coming up short. I think you have to lay up a little further back so you can get a full swing, and I think that's more lack of course knowledge by the women and a bad play by a lot of the women than it is the course's fault.
Des said that from the bottom of the steps, she can see the top of the basket, just the top of it. And Des is probably 5'8" to 5'10". She's not a short gal by any means. So there you go. There's, like you're saying, farther back and throw a faster disc.
Yep. Get to the back of that green and get onto the green. You know, even if you're out of bounds, make sure you at least cross in.
That's all right. Enough of that talk.
Yep. Again, please let us know your thoughts because we know you all have some. But, Smitty, President Cup's rosters are out. Team USA and Team Europe shaping up to be a heavyweight clash. Any surprises here? Any difference makers? Let's break it down.
There's a couple surprises for me, but I think I understand why. I was shocked that Silva Saarinen wasn't on there. And I guess you probably have to go with the defending world champ, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, honestly, as I look at this, I only see one advantage for the U.S., and that is Isaac over Yaku. That's the only advantage I truly see. I think this could be the year. I think that Europe could give us all that we wanted if they play.
Vinny over Vino all day.
Yeah, I'm not going to be able to say that. I think it's going to be a little closer than what you think. So far this year, they've played head-to-head twice. Calvin has won both of them. But look at the stroke comparison. 402 for Calvin, 411 for Vino. That's not a lot of strokes over two tournaments.
Yeah, and that doesn't show this most recent tournament.
No, probably not.
Where Vino did get a top 10, top 5, and Vinny was outside of the top 10. So, yeah, maybe you're right, but I don't know. It might be because I'm from America and I'm rooting for the Americans.
Well, the other thing you have working in your favor is the course is going to be at the. I'm assuming it's the same one they're playing for the. What is it? Players Championship? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
And it's just going to be a bomb fest, and we know Calvin can missiles. Well, Vino's no slouch either, but yeah, I think I was Avery Jenkins. I'd be worried that I might be the guy.
Nah, I think he's safe. He's safe for sure, but I think it is going to be the closest it's ever been for sure.
Could be for sure. So I think that's enough talk about the President's Cup. I'm not overly excited about it. It was kind of a thing last year. Until it's its own standalone thing, I think it's going to struggle to be awesome. Okay. Yeah. Last thing on what's popping. These boys are throwing down at Persimmon Ridge in Arkansas this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Go Throw's getting kind of what they want, right? We have Calvin, who Van Lifer driving right through, going to be hanging out there. Marweed, not the top echelon, but up there, great player. Casey in that same category. In fact, all of these guys I would consider in that same really great at disc golf, not top dog category, except for Calvin. I still call him one of the big fish in the pond.
For sure.
So we'll have a little bit of this to watch this weekend, and that course is really pretty and really fun to watch. So
beautiful.
That'll be fun to see how fast they push this out. I know over there in New Zealand they were able to bump them out by the time we even knew what was going on.
Yeah,
but that's also time change really helped them on that as well.
Yeah. I always get excited for this, and this is exactly what they wanted, and I'm not complaining. If we can have more disc golf, I'm all for it.
Yes, sir.
All right, somebody, I think we got to see how we did this week here at the Open at Austin. Are you ready to get into it?
Oh, you talking about what I think you're talking about?
I am. Ba-ba-da-dam. Weekly picks.
One too many picks, cowboy.
Yeah, I got nervous.
Let's get into it. Let's start at the bottom here. This stinks. I went with the stinker, Mr. Isaac Robinson. You went with the guy who's been kind of stinking this year, Mr. Matty O.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
After it was all said and done, I got it red.
Oh, man.
Because my guy did not stink. In fact, he played 6 strokes better than his normal finish, which is not good when you're trying to pick a stink. You want positive strokes. And you got a yellow because your guy played exactly where he should have played, 20th. That's not stinking, Lucas. I can't give you a green. Had he finished 21st, then I would give you a green.
I don't think if you finish in the top 20, you deserve a green. So I'm cool with it.
Well, you're going to have to be because it's my game, so I get to make the rules. Sleepers. I'm with my dude, Beast Mode. You went with the Hammer, Adam Hammis. You finished 6th and got the green. That is a good sleeper. I finished 7th, and I gave myself a yellow because that's pretty good, dude. Top 10 is fantastic.
What's his average finish, though, for
Beast,
2024?
Yeah, Beast averaged 22nd place.
Yeah, I think that's a great pick. This was a battle between us. That was pretty cool.
And Hammer averaged 30th place. So when we go live on 2025 stats, the Hammer is going to be somebody you're going to want to avoid for sleepers because he's going to have a really, really strong number. And then our Shine. And man, was it a battle.
It was.
I mean, it literally came down to the last putt of regulation. Little Nick clutched up, banged one in from about 18 feet to get the victory and give you the green. And ain't no way you can expect me to take more than a yellow for a 3rd place finish.
Well, we talked about it last week. It's either all or nothing, but it's your game, so I can't say anything. But yeah, a podium finish, you can't be too upset. I still think I should maybe get all green. I just wanted all green.
You're not getting all green.
I just want to see what it felt like, man.
Your guy didn't play better, buddy. Sorry.
You played better than your guy, though.
Barely. We don't have to make any picks this week since we have a week off.
Yeah, no picks this week.
That's nice. But what we do have to do is we have to figure out who's alive and survive.
Yeah, let's find that out right now. All right, Smitty, let's take a look at who is still alive. Just to remind everyone, this is the picks. We had Vinny, we had AB, and we had Lil Nick. And you know what? These dudes balled out, and everyone is safe for another week.
Ooh.
For real. All right, so they don't have to make a pick yet, although someone has already made a pick. Tyson was quick. He sent me his pick, and I said, hey, it's not till the week after. And then he just sent me his pick again, and that was the whole conversation. So
he really only has 1 or 2 picks left if he's going this all Discmania.
You might be surprised who he chose.
Oh, nice. He went off of Discmania.
Might be surprised. But yeah, good work to Schaefer, Tyson, Sean, and Brandon. And good luck next week. Hopefully you all lose, or at least one person wins, so we can get back in there.
About 30 seconds after Vinny took that 12, Jordan sent me a message.
Yeah, impressive for Calvin to come back the way he did after the 12, to be fair. And AB almost blew it that final round with some of his bad play.
He tried.
All right, Smitty. Think we got one more little segment?
Welcome to Big Deal, the segment of the show where Lucas takes a deep dive into things that everyone's talking about. Maybe not so much this week. Whether they deserve the hype and truly are a big deal, or are just a total overblown, big deal, bro. Get ready for some hot takes, sarcastic commentary, and a little bit of drama. Because in this segment, we'll decide whether it's a big deal.
All right.
We got Cheech and Chong here.
Yeah, Kansas is not a legal state. Is that a big deal? Is that what this is?
From Up in Smoke. No, but this references during that final round, they're playing along, or maybe it was the 3rd round. I don't remember which round. But Philo on live coverage busts out a weed joke, and Ian just rolls with it, and they have a good giggle. Lucas, do you think that Philo busting out a weed joke on Disc Golf Network is a big deal and might get him in trouble with the Jeff Spring and the rest of the Disc Golf Pro Tour and whoever's in charge there? Or is this just a big deal, bro? It's just a joke. Get over it.
It's a great question, Smitty. And I'm going to say this. It really depends on who you're talking to and who you're asking. Because,
well, I'm asking you.
My opinion is I need everyone to understand that there's two different ways this goes. Because there's the people that lean on the side of, hey, we want this sport to be more professional. We want to get more ad revenue. We want to grow the sport and make it bigger and get the purses higher and all of these things. And to do that, we have to be more professional. There's also the side that says, hey, that's not how the sport grew up. We need to keep it where it's always been, which is fun, lighthearted, et cetera, et cetera. I think the sport needs to be a little bit more professional. I think it's a big deal to make a bad joke when you are trying to grow a sport the way that he did. Now, I am a jokester, right? I like to make jokes about everything. But if I'm in that position, I'm not making that joke. I think it's a big deal that he made a bad joke. Smitty, what do you think?
I don't think he should have made it, but I'm going to lean towards the, big deal, bro.
Do you think any type of punishment or just like a slap on the wrist?
I think he's going to get a talking to that we don't know about. And I think Ian's going to get a talking to that we're not going to know about. Was it a huge deal? I don't think it's that big of a deal. I think that all the people watching Disc Golf Network are disc golfers, and disc golfers, I'm going to go to my local course tomorrow and I'm going to not smoke weed myself, but I'm going to smell weed multiple times.
I think it's just skunks. I don't think anyone smokes weed here.
Could be out at Colwich. And I don't care if they do that or not. I mean, if it was legal, I'd probably be doing it.
Yeah.
So I'm just in a position where I couldn't because bad things could happen to me.
Yeah, I just think with the way that people are wanting this to go, you just can't make that joke. While I think it's funny, I liked it. I just think with the direction we're trying to take the sport, it may not been in the best interest of the sport.
Yep. I agree.
And I'm not a fuddy-duddy, okay? I'm not a get off my lawn kind of guy.
You know, while we're here on deal or big deal, bro, we did have a little contest last week.
We sure did.
And I looked at the comments early in the week, and I've kind of been off of them here lately. So I don't really know how many people and what they thought. So maybe you can enlighten us a little.
Yeah, allow me to do that right now. All right, Smitty, we had 10 people comment. Well, we had more than 10 people comment, but only 10 people said big deal or talked about the OB situation. Let me bring up this wheel for everyone. Right here it is. We got Knopf, Anson, Jose, Edward, Schaefer, Sean, Mike M, the O Lazy, Landon, and Mendoza. Not familiar with these two, so if you win, we'll reach out to you. But there's 10 people here, so 10% chance of winning. And then Smitty will show you what you've won or what's up at stake here. Let's show that first, Smitty. Dun, 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 dun. A players meeting disc in of a
Your Lucas's Minty Ray.
No. That one's mine, but there is some cool ones for sure available. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to spin this right now and find out who is going to win.
Jordan.
And the rich get richer. It's Anson. After hitting his first ace this last week, now he's getting a brand new disc, a players meeting disc. Congratulations to Anson. Thanks for watching the show, and thanks for commenting, man.
Heck yeah.
Smitty, we're at the hour mark. It's that time to give shout-outs for the week. What you got?
The other 6 teams that came out to Kansas Team Championships and hung out and had some fun and played some disc golf. It was great.
Yep, I'd like to give a shout out to my team members that came and played with me. And so that's going to be Knopf, Rachel, Ty, and that's going to be Alexis. Thank you for playing with me. Huge shout out to Sean Ayton for caddying for me first round, and then Little Huddy for carrying my extremely heavy backpack all of second round. So thank you, Hudson, for doing that. I was pretty sure he was going to fall backwards. That's how heavy my bag is. Had a ton of fun, and thank you to all of you that came out and played, and I hope, again, that we see more of you out there next year. You got to just get out there and do it. You're not going to regret it if you do.
I don't think you will.
You don't know what you're missing. We did it. Next week, we got the preview of the Music City Open. Yep, and Simon has won that back-to-back. Can he three-peat? We're going to talk about it next week. All right, well, take care. Bye-bye now.